Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Bitter Geeks Podcast, episode 21. And surprisingly, we're actually doing this pretty timely. And today we're going to be breaking down, talking about the brand new trailer for Zack Snyder's upcoming movies, Rebel Moons Part 1 and 2, that just released a little while ago. And joining me are some familiar faces if you've been listening to any of our recent episodes. So if you guys want to reintroduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Liz, and we've mostly been doing the Lord of the Rings podcast recently, but we're actually going to go back to Zack Snyder today. And the reason that it's very timely is because of Josh. So, Josh.
Yeah, I'm
requested
Josh.
This.
Yeah, I'm a massive Zack Snyder fan.
No.
Massive Lord of the Rings fan, as you guys already know by now, by the past few podcasts that we've done. But yeah, like I cannot wait for this movie. It's got me stuttering. Like I can't. This thing was just fucking amazing. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, and so obviously, if you're listening to us, like or have listened to this podcast in any capacity over the last number of years, anyone who I've brought on this podcast are very big Zack Snyder fans. So if that bothers you in any way, and you're not a Zack fan, or like you just hate him with every ounce of your being, like an irrational person, this isn't the podcast for you. So, but I hope that if you're listening to this, that you're at least a casual fan of Zack's. And if so, welcome. And I'm ready to pretty much just get right into this thing. So basically, we're gonna do a whole like breakdown of the trailer and like what we think the movie is gonna be, and like what we can tell just based off of the visuals and what you see in the trailer. So I have the trailer queued up here. We're just kind of gonna like break down like shot by shot. I want to say,
oh, good. This will take 3 hours.
Well, welcome to the Bitter Geeks Podcast.
So much.
I love this opening narration and these shots with Anthony Hopkins.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, when I remember when Zack announced that Anthony Hopkins was going to be Jimmy, that shocked me, because you think of Anthony Hopkins as this, like kind of like above the rest of Hollywood kind of actor. I mean, granted, he's been in, like, the Thor movies and stuff, which, like, that's, its own thing. And it initially started out as a great role, and then, Taika happened. But but in general, like, you think of, like, Anthony Hopkins, and you just think of, like, this, like very classy British actor, and, like, he's known for being great no matter what, pretty much. And he's never worked with Zack, as far as I know, has he?
No, he has not.
Okay. I just want to be
I
sure.
hope no one's going to correct us.
I know.
I feel like we would remember that.
No, I don't think so.
Because I haven't seen Zack's earlier movies, like pre-Watchmen. I haven't seen anything of his, so if there's anything there, then I haven't seen.
You haven't seen Dawn of the Dead?
No, because look, zombie movies zombie. The genre itself is just not my thing. So I watched Army of the Dead because this is right after Justice League, and like I needed new Zack content.
Okay.
And then with the fandom too, this is like blasphemy, but I have yet to see Sucker Punch.
Okay, yeah, that's bad, and actually, I dislike you for that.
But I feel like we're getting
Nick,
close.
You need to check your misogyny.
Hey, I will say though, I feel like the longer I wait, I feel like the closer we're getting to getting his director's cut of that. So I feel like I might as well just wait at this point. And
okay,
I do.
You shouldn't, but okay.
But I will say, a few years back, Zack had posted something about Sucker Punch, and I commented, this is like on his Vero, and I commented like, oh, which version of Sucker Punch should I watch, since I haven't watched it yet? And Zack told me to watch the extended version. So if we end up not getting the director's cut, I will do that. But
okay.
But anyways, enough about me not watching his other movies. It's very cool seeing Anthony Hopkins here, and like his voice, like,
yes,
his voice fits this character, like, very much so. Like, even like without having him like physically there, like, you feel that presence of this this like ancient, like not like I don't know if it's like all knowing because I don't know that like, how old Jimmy is, but like having that like ethereal kind of presence that Zack teased when he was talking about this character initially, and I just really like how they started this trailer with the shots of him, kind of echoing like Clark and the farm in Zack Snyder's Justice League with in the weeds, or not in the weeds, but in the fields. And then you got Jimmy looking at the sunset. It's just very, very beautiful shots here.
Yep.
Yeah, it's clearly something that Zack really likes with this kind of imagery. I mean, he does it even in 300. Like, he clearly just likes this aesthetic a lot, which is fine with me because I really like it. I love that shot of just his hand stroking the wheat. It's really cool, like, and the effects are great. And I agree with the like starting it with Anthony Hopkins was just a great idea because it sets the tone so perfectly of something really grand. Like,
I agree, and I think
his voice just evokes that.
Yeah, and I think too for like the casual person watching this, I think hearing Anthony Hopkins' voice might bring them in a little more. If it instead of just like if it had just started with Sofia Boutella's character or like any of the other characters, I think it would have been less of a who are these people? I feel like once you hear Anthony Hopkins, I feel like most people at least recognize his voice, even if they might not know his name. But like just hearing that, I think was a great, or having that included, I think was a great addition to this trailer and a great way to start it.
Yeah, it sets also, exactly the right tone.
Also, it's interesting how like a robot is stroking the the leaves or whatever. Like, it's something really cool about that. I don't think I'll get the same kind of feeling if a human was doing it. But it's just like, I don't know, it's just something really cool. The imagery behind it too. And then like I said, like Anthony, his voice is like such a, like, you can tell whenever he's talking that's him.
Oh yeah,
so
very recognizable.
Like it's iconic, like it gives off this like mythical kind of vibe to him. Like he's this like you was saying, Nick, like an ancient, some kind of like a hermit kind of thing or something like that. Like it has those vibes. So yeah, it had a great start.
Yeah, and I've mentioned this on Twitter, but I love Jimmy's design. All right, sorry about that cut there. I had a little bit of a non-emergency, but I had to leave for a second. But yes, we were just talking about Jimmy's design, which I really like, and we don't have to talk too much about it because Josh and Liz had a whole conversation while I was gone that unfortunately we didn't get to record.
Yeah, but basically we like the design. We could go on.
Yeah, but one thing I wanted to say real quick, but I was trying to say before I had to go, because I mentioned it on Twitter that I really do like his design, and it also reminds me of, I don't know if either of you have seen this movie, but Castle in the Sky, the Studio Ghibli movie.
I've heard of it.
I have heard of it. Yeah.
Yes, and there are these really ancient robots in that movie. They don't talk. They just like beep and stuff, but like their design reminds me a lot of Jimmy. And just their presence, because like they're ancient and they're very like comforting in a weird way. It's like, which I get the same kind of vibe from Jimmy. So that's like when I first saw that, I'm like, okay, that's. But it's funny because when I first saw the very first design of like him with like the cloak on with the horns, I'm like, that's an interesting android design there, Zach. But I didn't realize that like that wasn't like he threw clothes on basically, but like he has a normal android body, which I really like. I like all the details.
Right. And you know what? I forgot to mention there. If you look closely on his chest, there's a cup, a symbol of a cup on it. And like Zach.
That's what I was gonna bring up. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Holy Grail is like in like King Arthur, like lore, like legends and stuff. That's like one of the things that King Arthur's knights tries to go after. So that's really interesting. I mean, it's not surprising because it's Zach. He loves that stuff. But I think, just to put it on this character, and I mean, I guess it makes sense because he is kind of like a knight in a way that has gone like that it hasn't been really used in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's pretty cool. If they have any significance to that, will be interesting to see.
Zach has said he's Lancelot in this movie.
Okay.
He made the King Arthur comparison that this is a very King Arthur movie, and he said the only two that he said, but I'm sure he has it for a number of the characters, was that Jimmy is Lancelot and Milius is Percival. So clearly, this is those comparisons are intended, so you're not reaching. We're going to the next shot because we're gonna talk about Jimmy for the whole thing.
No, yeah, I know. So is this might be a dumb question, but is this young Cora?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's what I thought.
It is. I guess it's possible that it's not, but I also think she's wearing the same necklace around her neck towards the end. So
okay, gotcha.
It would be weird if it wasn't her.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was saying to Josh earlier off camera is we saw in the shot of young Cora, we saw in the behind the scenes thing that was released that behind her, that's Belisarius.
Oh, okay.
So what I guess has happened here is he was the one. What I think is Cora's backstory is that she was a child on her home planet, and the Imperium came in and said, "This is our planet now," and she was then recruited into the Imperium. That is my guess, basing that on this trailer. And I would guess he was the one who did the recruiting.
Gotcha. So this next shot here of the ship, this might be a really weird comparison, but I don't know, and I don't know why. I got like Starship Trooper vibes off of the shot, which I don't know if you guys have seen that movie. It's very aggressively 90s.
I've seen a lot of it.
Like bits and pieces.
I should probably watch the whole thing all the way through.
It's just like it's so like. It's not a subtle movie in any way, shape, or form. But like it never tries to be. But like it's just like one of those movies that like it's just yeah. But visually, like just like with all the warships and the design of the ships, just reminds me of that. And I really like these ships too, because like while yes, this was very much like supposed to be like a Star Wars thing, like these ships feel very unique in terms of like sci-fi space opera, and I really like that. And I don't feel like, other than like a couple of things, I don't feel like there's too much of like, oh well, here's what this would have been in Star Wars. Like there's a lot of uniqueness in this that I really like. And not that I thought that Zach would have like straight up ripped off, but yeah.
That doesn't look like a Star Destroyer.
No.
At all,
it doesn't
which
look
I'm
like
happy.
it doesn't look like any of the ships in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
But let me say this about the Star Wars thing. Like, people just have to get that shit a rest. Really, they have to because Star Wars got shit from Dune. They got shit from Flash Gordon.
Yep.
Like, something always got something from something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just how things work. Like, nowadays, like that's been happening for years. Like, Tolkien got stuff from Beowulf. Like, I mean, there wasn't a movie of like that, but at that time. But like, it's just that like creators, they obviously get inspired by other things, and then that's how you do it. Like,
yeah,
I don't know why that's a big like deal when these things happen. Just like shut up. Like
it's a big deal when Zach does it, because Zach's not allowed to do anything.
Also, we can say that Star Wars is a Dune ripoff because it's not for the record, but George Lucas was inspired by Dune, and it's very obvious that he was inspired by Dune, and that doesn't make Star Wars any less because of that. It's because it's clearly its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think it's just because Star Wars is just so big. It it is kind of like the franchise, or it was for a long time, of like big movie. It's still like the second highest grossing movie of all time, not just for inflation, you know. Like so when you. So if you have anything that's inspired by that, it's just going to get annoying no matter what.
Well, yeah. Well, that's kind of like in the realm of like horror, like the amount of Shining references. You know what I mean? Like when movies that big and that successful and that much ingrained in pop culture, like it's just, if you're making something of a similar thing, it's just like comparisons and inspirations are just going to be inevitable.
Yep. Okay, so the next shots are of Titus, and Josh and I were talking about this when you came back, Nick. And it's Titus seemingly on his knees, and with his, I think maybe with his hands tied in front of him, and then these guys who are also on their knees with the bags over their heads. Nick, what's happening?
I think this is just Zack showing off the male physique. As he does.
Okay.
I can't tell if this
They have to be shirtless. They have to be.
But it's just funny that like they hide their faces, they're wearing pants, but they're just showing their like chest, torso, and abs. Like,
Yes.
But if I had to get, it's hard because like this doesn't look like the Imperium would be doing this. But like, are the priests that we've seen? Do we know what side of things they're on, or are they their own thing?
They're bad.
But are they with the Imperium, or are they like their own thing?
They are.
Okay.
They are. There's a shot in the behind-the-scenes stuff of them walking right behind Noble. Like they're with them. Okay.
Well, because in that case, I don't know. That would have been my guess of where this comes from, and it still could be the case. But I'm just with that eye symbol. I'm just not sure if this would be like the rebels or what. It's hard for me to tell.
I think it is the priests, and yeah, I can't really figure out exactly
because these guys are the Imperium. Because I see the Imperium, like the stitching on the one guy on the far left, or this patch or whatever. So it's interesting.
My guess is that I can only guess that they're going to have their brains rewired as the priests do. But again, it's hard to guess at this point. Also, the eye thing, surely that's a bad thing. Maybe it's just the two Lord of the Rings. Like I'm doing my Lord of the Rings head. But I mean, sure, you can't. Thanks to Tolkien, you can never ever have an eye symbol like this where it's just one eye. And it be a good thing. It just can't be. And it's also, it invokes, the 1984 certainly, with Big Brother always watching you. Yeah, all of that. It's very, they're bad guys, whoever put these bags on their heads.
Yeah.
So I haven't figured out all the symbolism of who has which symbols, like what all the Imperium artwork is, but I think this is related to the priests. That's my guess.
That's my guess. Yeah. If I had a guess of what, yeah, I agree.
And then next this is what Josh and I were talking about again. Like Titus is here. It looks like I'm guessing this is when he defects, because again he's on his knees and it looks like he's not super happy with this situation. But we were saying like to start acting like assholes. Like
sorry, what'd you say, Liz? It kind of cut in and out for me.
Okay, we're guessing this might be when Titus defects and goes off to be a gladiator instead. Because he's on his knees here, and it looks like he might have his hands tied up.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we were just wondering, like, what's changed here that, like, the Imperium surely wasn't that great before. Why is it worse now? Has something changed?
Well, that's my question too. Is that like, was the Imperium always this evil thing, or was it like it started out as just like maybe this like government thing that became just kind of like an evil empire kind of thing? I don't know. It's really interesting.
From what I remember, I could be wrong. Maybe Liz might remember this, but I'm pretty sure Zack was saying that the Imperium have been bad for like a long time.
Okay.
And the galaxy has been struggling for like years, maybe like generations, centuries, whatever. So like, yeah, that's my thing too. Is like, why now? Why now? What's the breaking point now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know.
The only thing I can guess, because again, I think you're right, Josh, that Zack said that, it also would be kind of silly if it's just like, oh well, just in this last year, it became a tyrannical government. Like there would have been signs that it was going bad long before. It's just like, wow, just now it got really bad. Like, you should probably have seen it coming.
Because the Jimmys aren't being used like that now too, so. Did they just now stop doing it? Like, that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I mean, it could be that I do think it's implied that it's getting worse. Like, that it's worse than it's ever been. And maybe what is the case here is that this is when Belisarius becomes regent and it becomes a lot worse. That's the only change I can think of. Like, there's no more pretense about us just being your nice, your good guy, democratically elected, not at all monarchy. There's no more pretending about that, and now it's just like, no, you're really just your tyrants. So that's the only change I can think of. That the king died and he was not a tyrant, or at least not forwardly a tyrant, and now we have like one who doesn't even hide it. That's my guess. I mean,
for sure, I think it's been bad since Cora was a child, because we've seen her been taken.
Oh, so yeah, we see her as a child too. We see her as a kid, and it looks like in like one of the next shots, like it looks like the Imperium is like bulldozing her home. So it's like, again, has it really? We're gonna need to talk to Titus about it. Like, why were you okay with this before, but now it's a problem? I'll be curious. And the same thing with Cora. Like, why is this any new to you? Like, what changed? Is it because you like? I don't know. Well, we'll get to that when we get to those shots. But
what I just thought about, and I could be completely way off, but like it would be interesting if Titus's home world, and it could be that his and then this is like punishment, or like, and he's like witnessing that.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I got, so I don't know what else it could be.
Yeah, I think that's something I'm definitely very intrigued about, is just like, okay, how are we all going from, we love the Imperium, to, whoa, okay, maybe it's not that great. Like, what, it seems like it sucked all along, so what made you realize it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I guess we'll see. All right, the next shot is just farmers walking through the fields, because Zack loves that, and that means they're good guys.
and more shots of hand touching wheat or weeds or.
Yeah, I love that. Oh yeah, and if you're touching the wheat, then like you're a good guy. And this like slightly erotic shot of him just blowing them out of his hand.
And this is
in slow mo.
Is this the dude that replaced Ed Skrein as Dario? I can't remember his name. Is this him?
Yeah, it is him.
Yeah.
I just realized too that they're both in this.
Both are in it. Both Darios are in it.
Yeah, I know, which is funny. And yeah, this is also Cora's clear like love interest.
Mm-hmm.
Little farmer boy, like that's tagging along. It's like that's his character. We don't see that much of him in this. He's clearly romantic lead. He's the handsome guy here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of salty. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of salty because I kind of wish Blood Axe was the one that she was with.
Yeah,
I would let it go. I would let it go.
Is it because you want that, or because you want Ray Fisher?
Oh no!
Wait, what
no,
happened?
we all just want. He was saying that you think Ray Fisher is the hottest, really.
I mean, he looks the
Yes.
most like fierce character. Like he like so I don't. Well, not the most fierce. I think Nemesis looks fucking crazy too. But I guess we'll get to her later. But yeah.
Well, this is
Yeah. Well.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Dick.
No, you can go ahead.
No, I was done. No, go.
No, I was just moving to these next shots of the king's funeral. And
Yeah, we had that like the cool explosion of.
Oh yeah, that too.
giant statue.
That was really cool.
Yeah, no real context for that, but it just looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do have the shot of Milius where that's like their village. I think that's the backstory we've been given for Milius, that their village was pretty much destroyed like Korra's is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And this we're clearly seeing like the beginnings of that.
Yeah.
And then the next shots are those funeral shots. Yeah, this was interesting. So Nick, give your thoughts.
It is interesting. It's definitely interesting fashion choices here. I mean, we got
They got feathers.
They got feathers. They got Buckbeak in the background. The king dressed all in white.
They got a griffin at the funeral with them.
Is that a different one than the one we see later, or is it the same?
Yes, this one's white.
Yeah, the other one is black.
Okay, I figured.
Yeah. This whole thing is interesting though. So, like, I mean, I am guessing this is the king's funeral. I don't know. Like, I guess it would make some sense for Tarek, one of them, for his character to be there because we know he's a prince or some nobility, but I don't know if he's related to the Imperium bloodline or if it's just. I think it's probably his own home planet. That would be my guess.
Yeah, because as far as I know, because he's
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
And so I guess. So I'm looking at the Wikipedia description of him. It says he's a blacksmith with the ability to bond with animals of nature and rally them in combat.
I feel like that has to be like his home planet thing. I don't think he's an Imperium royal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just.
So they're probably. No, go ahead. Nick, go.
Oh no! Sorry, I thought it was a pause. No, you can go ahead.
I guess I was just going to say that like all the royals that that are kind of under the Imperium just show up for this funeral, and that's why he's there. And I guess their griffin came to pay his respects, which I love. That's cool. So go ahead, Nick. That was all I was going to say.
I wasn't really going to add much other than pretty much what you were saying. And this is shot very interestingly too. It almost looks like it's a flashback kind of thing because it has that kind of because we get the focus on Tarek and who I assume that is mom or sister.
I would guess mom.
And then with the griffin in the background, the focus is on them and everyone else is kind of blurred, but not like in a normal shot, like a focus shot and everyone else is blurred kind of way. It looks very like dream-esque or like memory-esque. So this all looks like it could be the opening scene. Yeah.
Like, we just see this quick. I could see that being the case.
Well, because I'm kind of and now I'm kind of flashing back to like Army of the Dead, where we kind of like the whole like opening is kind of not a flashback, but just like here's where the world is kind of thing. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we got something like that for this, just because this story is so big and they want to cover a lot of bases with these characters.
Zach, I mean, it could be like Watchmen, how the Watchmen opening is. Mm-hmm. How it was kind of like slow motion, and it was like showing you like the different, like how the times are changing. Like that song plays in that whole sequence. So like it could be something like that, and for Rebel Moon, and it just shows you where the main, like the cast of characters, like what their lives were before and now how it is now, I guess.
Yeah, So, okay, now I'm looking at this shot a little more closely of the dead somebody. It seems like a king. And I don't think that this is Cary Elwes. It doesn't look like him.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
That's not him.
Yeah,
So,
it's probably his dad.
it could be his dad. I don't know.
Do we know who Cary Elwes is supposed to be playing, or has that not been announced yet?
He's the king of the whole
He's
galaxy.
supposed to be the king of the galaxy, who's also dead. So that's where I'm struggling here. I don't know. This guy also draped across him. Don't those look like feathers, like the ones that?
Yeah, they do.
Tarek
They do.
is
Yeah,
wearing?
yeah.
So could it be that this is not even the Imperium royal family? Could be Tarek's
I don't
father?
think-
I think
I'm
you're
pretty
right.
sure
I
it's
think
Tarek.
this is just like another world's king or something. I don't think this is Imperium. I think this is just another like Tarek's world. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that was my first thought, that it was the Imperium. But now that I'm looking at it closer, and the fact that they're there, clearly this is like, it seems like it's a big loss to them. Like, I don't know why they would care that much about like the king of the Imperium.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Tarek's father.
yeah.
Because it looks like he's got those feathers on him too, and the feathers are clearly something that they wear because they're Griffin people. So like they're probably like, I don't know. It's clearly a part of their fashion choice.
Mm-hmm.
And he's wearing the feather. This is Tarek's father. I'm going to say that, and this is their home world.
Okay, that's my guess too. And obviously we'll find out if we're wrong.
Oh, I wonder if the Imperium killed him.
Ooh,
Possibly.
interesting.
I read there was something that Zack said that the Imperium basically like destroyed his whole situation. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, we know everyone has a problem with the Imperium for a variety of reasons. Maybe they killed him, and then I mean, it doesn't look like their kingdom fell after this, but maybe at that point they just, like, took over politically. And then I don't know how Tarek gets from there to working as pretty much an indentured servant on a desert planet, but at some point he, I guess, bails on this planet.
Actually,
But yes,
maybe Zack didn't. He might have not said that. But wait, so the whole Mother World thing, is that a planet?
I think so.
That's a planet,
I guess.
right?
Or is it a metaphor? I
Yeah.
would suspect it's a planet where they're like based. That is all I guess.
Yeah, that's what I took that as. Okay, so
But this-
because he
This
says
is not
like
the Mother World, I don't think.
no, I know, but
Yeah.
I think Zack was saying like that Tarek's family like suffered at the hands of the Mother World. So like I'm thinking that the Imperium is like where, like what you just said, is that's their base.
Mm-hmm.
Like that might be the capital of like the whole galaxy, the Mother World, and maybe like they had some kind of like Tarek's home world, and the Imperium might have had like some kind of like ties together, but they betrayed them or whatever. But it looks like they just they fucked over them, I guess.
Yeah, there was a falling out of some kind. And yeah, Nick, I think though this all supports what you were saying earlier, that this looks like it would be a flashback or something like that, because this will probably be Tarek's flashback when we find out his backstory. And why do I hate the Imperium? That'll be the whole. Everybody gets one of those. Like, what is my issue with that? So I think you're right.
Yeah.
I imagine the whole movie is just like, here's this
Yeah.
character, and here's why they hate the Imperium.
Yeah.
I think it could work in that way. Like we get that once we see him, or it could be in the beginning of the movie as like the whole like Watchmen kind of thing. But,
Yeah, I really want to know what the opening scene is going to be, because it feels like it's going to be really difficult. Just like, because there's just so much to set up.
And there's so many characters too. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like
so
Zack
many.
does ensembles well. Like, I feel like in all of his movies that I've seen, I don't feel like there's a character I felt that lacked any exploration of their character, other than maybe like a couple of things. As far as like anything major, like I don't think. I think he handles ensembles very well. Like even something like Army of the Dead, which is just like a fun heist movie. I feel like pretty much all the characters got their due in that. So and plus I think this being 2 parts will help that. So even if someone doesn't get fully developed in this part, in the first part, that we'll see more of them in the subsequent part.
Yeah, I agree. And then speaking of like backstories, the next shots it's more backstories.
And again, here's why Nemesis hates the Imperium.
Yes, and this is her sad backstory. And yeah, so Duna Bay's character, and these shots were really cool, just visually.
This feels very much like Star Wars to me. This to me feels like a very Star Wars-y kind of shot.
I agree.
But that's not a bad thing. It's just, yeah. I mean, they just go to like they're kind of undercover, I guess, and they're in this. I don't know if they're in the Mother World or where they are, but they're just undercover. I think.
Yeah.
So
it looks like the Mother World came and very kindly burned down her village, and it looks like it could be any child, of course, but it certainly is conveying the idea that may have been her daughter that they killed.
Mm-hmm.
And I would guess that right after this is when she cuts her hands off
and becomes a cyborg.
Yeah, which is kind of rad.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if she like. So do we know that if she does it on her own, or?
It looked like she does it on her own in the
behind the scenes thing.
Behind the scenes thing, and you can see she has her hands here, like that. That's really not a cyborg hand, when she's holding this child.
Wait, so why would she cut her own hands off?
I don't know. That'll be the interesting thing.
That's because it's the case that you have to have the cyborg hands in order to wield those blades. So,
well, that'd be interesting. Well, that's interesting, but also I don't know if it's maybe like she associates her hands with holding her dead child. So I don't know if that's part of it too.
I'm sure that'll be part of it. Like the last thing she ever touched with her hands was her dead child, which is like a little bit intense.
But honestly, like I'm kind of here for it if that's the case. It makes her more interesting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I could kind of see people bitching about that, like the same way people like got mad about Jonathan Kent. Like I feel like people will be like, "Oh, that's too extreme" and whatever.
What is extreme about it?
You could totally see like how a parent would feel about that. Like that's traumatizing. But like Zack's, his haters are so. You know how they are. I don't need to explain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But yeah, these shots were really cool, and that is what I suspect will be happening there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this next shot was just a very cool, like, atmosphere.
Yeah, and this is where I was saying, like, this just reminds me very much of like a Star Wars-y kind of, with the colors and like the ships and like.
Yeah. And if you look, it looks like there's an eclipse happening of some kind in the background. Like, it's really cool.
Is that the Rebel Moon? I'm just kidding.
God, Jesus. The Rebel. We'll see that in part 3.
And then, so here they're getting off the ship, and like, I don't know if they're like trying to be incognito or what, because she's still wearing her hood.
Yeah. I don't know where they are here. Yeah. I would guess this is where. I would guess it's where Blood X is based, maybe, but because it's not the deserty planet where Tarek and Titus clearly are.
Yeah,
the
definitely
one. It's not there. So my guess is the next one would be where Blood X and probably Milius are. That's my guess.
Yeah. And then moving.
The next shot is Sauron.
Next shot is Sauron. Like, come on, like that is like, come on, dude.
It's not subtle. Like, if you have a figure like that, come on. Like, Zack isn't stupid.
Mm-hmm. He's very. That's the thing. Like, it's funny. I was watching behind the scenes featurette of Justice League last night, or his Justice League, and just talking about like all the stuff that he deliberately puts in his movies, and like Zack is so tedious like that. Like, there's no way he would put this in there and have it be an accident. Like, oh, this sort of thing just happens to look like One of the most known villains
one of
in
the
all
most
of
iconic
fiction.
Dark Lord figures.
Yeah.
No, like, come on, the thorns coming out of his head. Yeah, come on, Sauron.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not talk about that. We'll just get on to an idea of, like, Zack directing a Sauron scene. Let's not think about that.
It will happen. It will happen.
Yes.
It might not
day.
be that. It might not be Sauron, but it might be Lord of the Rings related. I'm telling you. I'm putting it out there.
We're gonna manifest it.
Yeah.
Okay, so these next shots, we see Korra ringing the bell, and I wasn't sure it was going to be connected to the Imperium's arrival, but it clearly is.
Yeah.
Like, that's why she's doing it.
One thing I think is kind of interesting, and I know like trailers and stuff, companies do this all the time. But when we got the first look at this shot of the ships flying in, they changed the mountain to having like the 3 waterfalls.
Yeah.
I just think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just like the VFX sort of thing was they were just like, oh, we'll add them later, or but it's very cool. I like it. And this whole this whole environment, like the mountains and this like farming area, like this also kind of reminds me of like something you would see in Middle Earth kind of thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yep.
So we see those shots of them flying, and here we get a shot. I didn't realize it was him at first. It's Corey Stoll.
I didn't realize that was him either. I'm like, oh, just bald white guy.
I was surprised because I thought, oh, it's Corey Stoll. Like, he's this really tall, like, handsome, imposing figure. That I was like, oh, he's playing a bad guy. Like, of course he's going to be one of the Imperium. Mm-hmm. But no, he's playing one of the farmers, and that was a bit of a surprise. What?
He's the guy with that beard?
Yep.
Yes, yeah. Corey Stoll from House of Cards, and he was in West Side Story.
He was in Ant-Man.
Like, he's been in a bunch of. He's a very good actor. So I was just surprised.
He does not look anything like that himself.
So, I totally didn't know either. Like, I thought he was just some random dude.
I didn't realize it until like about my 10th watch of the trailer. I was like, oh wait, that's Corey Stoll.
You know who I thought it was?
Who?
I didn't really think it was him, but the look reminded me of Dwalin, the actor who plays Dwalin.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it does look like him. Yeah, it does. And the beard is very.
Well, that's the funny. Again, another thing. Like his beard is very dwarvish.
That actor needs to be in this because this is high fantasy, and he needs to be in all fantasy.
He might. Yeah, he might be in the next two or whatever. That
actor's agent, he's great. He's always working. Like that's an actor where you're always like, oh, it's him.
Yeah.
And the next shot is just bicep.
Korra looking distressed and gorgeous. We love that. But I loved how she delivered that line too.
Oh, me too. To me, like I know, like we've like talked about like on Twitter and stuff, how like the bob haircut and then like her name and the comparisons to Legend of Korra. She looks like Korra here. Like
she does, yeah. We love Legend of Korra references because that's a great show.
It is. This shot's very cool. With the screen.
You can see the priests behind him.
Yes, now, yeah.
Yeah, this shot of I guess I realize we're not really describing the shots that well to our listeners, but that's okay. Just follow along in the trailer with us. No, this was a really cool shot, and I love how the ship looks.
Me too. Looks very like insect-like.
Oh yeah, I love that. Again, this is a Bug's Life inspired movie.
It's kind of like the Kryptonian ships a little bit.
Yeah. Where that kind of looks more like a beetle. This looks kind of more like a cockroach or a spider-y kind of like
grasshopper.
Okay.
Bug's Life. We're talking about Bug's Life.
And obviously with like Zack's not so subtle imagery here of the flags there in the front, very much so emulating Nazi imagery.
Yeah, and he's making this complicated because like they have 2 different symbols on the flags here, so I don't know what their symbol is. I don't know. But this shot is cool. I don't think it's on Velt though. The moon, the main moon in this movie. I don't think they're there. I think they're somewhere else.
Ed screen is very clean here. Very Because I feel like I'm so used to seeing him like look grungy, so it's weird seeing him so like crisp.
Yeah.
And then those
And
cheekbones.
then the next shot is just, the shot of him. This is the interesting part because he says, "I found her," which implies Cora. And again, this could all be edited in a tricky way where we don't know. He calls her after this the Scar Giver, which is what the sequel's called, and what we can assume Cora is. We don't really know though. But I'm going to operate under the assumption that he is talking about Cora when he says, "I found her," and then when he calls her the Scar Giver. So that implies, certainly, that she's someone that they have a problem with or have at least been looking for. And if she's called the Scar Giver, we can guess why. Josh and I were theorizing that maybe she's the one that killed the king, but I'm not sure if that's the case. That's a tough one.
Well, it's like I don't know, especially because of like her reaction to. I don't know. I just can't say definitively why she ends up in her situation.
Yeah, I can't tell why she left. Why did everybody leave? What became the problem? Why was fascism no longer cool?
It might have something to do with her old boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah, but what led up to that too? Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I think it has to do with the Imperium. Like everything. I feel like everything has, like, all the characters, their lives being fucked up. It has to do with the Imperium, and it's like, for Cora, they probably screwed her over, but I don't know exactly why, but I feel like it has something to do with her old lover, I guess.
Yeah, that was probably something of a turning point for her, but it's just then it goes like, well, what did she do after that? And like, okay, again, she gave somebody a scar. Is it probably Belisarius, or it could be Noble? I don't know.
The scene, I'm jumping ahead now a little bit, but the scene where her and Noble are fighting with the blue flame swords.
Yes, yeah.
Is that scene like back in the day, or is that present day? Because I couldn't really tell her hair style in that scene.
I think her hair looks just like it's short and shaved in that scene.
So then that would be like beforehand then.
I think that would be my guess, because we'll get to that, but it looks like her hair was short, which would mean that happened before. So yeah, maybe they did have a falling out in the past. Because I don't think she'll cut her hair again. I mean, I guess it's possible. But yeah, I think that's probably a flashback. Okay, but I guess she somehow made a lot of noise on her way out, and we don't really know what she did yet. And there's plenty of dead people that she could be responsible for, but yeah, we don't really, we don't know yet. Okay, these next shots are just cool fighting shots of Zack flexing his action skills. This looks like it's probably on Velt, her planet,
I would imagine.
when they start their occupation. And based on the uniforms. And she looks really good in this scene.
Sorry, what were you talking about again?
Cora. Who else were we talking about?
Are we talking about the fighting scene, or are we talking about the scene with her in her Imperium getup?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she looks epic.
Yeah. Okay, so, and then we get to another baby Cora shot, and this looks like it's got to be her home planet, right?
Yeah. This also very much reminds me of, like, Star Wars, and, like, specifically kind of like Galaxy's Edge to me, because, like, obviously I've been there a few times now, and, like, just that kind of, like, desert planet-y, kind of, like, dirty kind of vibe.
Yeah, this looks like it'll be her
child. I feel like the child castings in Zack's movies, like when it's a younger version of the character, like they always match up well.
They really do.
Very well.
Oh
with
God,
the
Man of
present
Steel?
day character.
I think Man of Steel is probably
Yeah.
the best example of that.
Those
All three of
kids,
them.
That was crazy how much they looked
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
You know, she looks really good as young Korra, for sure. And I would guess, this is how she was orphaned. See, originally I thought because of the concept art we saw of the little girl and what looks like an adult Imperium officer, that she was Imperium from childhood, right? That she was born into it. But
Mm-hmm.
now that's clearly not the case. She was clearly just an average, it seems like, just a regular person. And then the Imperium showed up on her planet and recruited her. Well, after they destroyed everything.
Right.
The next shot is interesting. Okay, maybe this is Carrie Ellis. This is just me looking for Carrie for the.
I
whole
would
trailer.
guess this would more likely be him.
It's hard to tell because, it's just such a quick shot, and I can't tell from his hair or really anything. It's clearly a man.
Are you guys? Because I can't see the shot right now, but are y'all talking about the shot where it's like he's sitting on the throne and there's like two chairs next to him?
No,
something
sir.
like that?
We're talking about the shot where there's a guy in front of a big crowd of soldiers lifting up what looks, I guess, a scepter or something.
Okay.
And I would guess he doesn't have a crown on, but I would guess that it's the king or some kind. It could just be a general. I don't know.
I mean, I think it's either Bazarus or the.
It's not him. The hair's wrong.
Not Noble.
It's not Belisarius. The hair's wrong.
I would guess that's Carrie Elwes.
I can't
Just
see
based
the
on the
face,
hair.
so it's hard for me to.
Well, maybe you need to be following along with us, Josh.
Listen, I have too much going on right now. I'm sorry.
Too much going.
Jesus, you were the one that wanted to do this.
I know, but oh my God,
it's too hard for him to. It's too hard for him to just click through a trailer. Okay. Anyway, I think it's probably Carrie Elwes, but I don't know. Anyway, it looks like this is probably the Mother World.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And he is giving some rousing speech to his wonderful
And
troops,
and everyone and the Imperial Army with their non-binary haircuts are all cheering in unison.
They all have the shaved head look. And Cora's loving it. This is her in her fascist days. And then we see her boyfriend, and then we see him dead immediately.
Yep. So did she give him that scar?
What scar? Oh, wait. Oh, whoa. Nick, look at you. You're so smart. He does have a scar. I didn't even think of that. Well, we can't see his face before that, so we don't know how long he had that.
It doesn't look like it's there on that first shot of him. Is that him behind her when they're cheering?
I don't know. They all kind of look the same.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them apart. He's cute though. But that scar also looks like it's been there a while. When we see him dead.
You guys still there?
I was, but can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, Nick, are you there? Oh no, we've lost him. Hold on. Nick.
Sorry, that was my
I said,
tending to my kids.
Oh, okay. God, you just disappeared. You didn't even give a warning.
But I did keep recording, so if you guys kept on talking.
Oh, great. We'll have a nice long silence. This time you didn't record. We didn't say anything. Okay.
You guys are killing me today.
Okay. Well.
So yeah, I was just saying, like, I can't tell if her boyfriend has the scar beforehand. It doesn't look like he does.
It looks like that. It looks like an old scar, but that's a good point. He has one, so I don't know.
I could be like looking too deep into it, but the fact that she's called Scargiver and like her love interest who died has a big scar.
Yeah.
Like, I'm wondering if, like, maybe did she give herself that title? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But clearly what's happening here is they're in some kind of battle. And
I want to say
he dies.
I love their armor. Especially like, ever since Zack showed the picture of Jaimon Hansu it reminds me of, like, the Kryptonian script, like, from Man of Steel. Like, I love the design. And is Michael Wilkinson on this movie?
No.
No, it's Stephanie Porter. God, start respecting women. People were
Liz
saying
hates it when you get shit wrong.
I do. No, it drove me crazy. Everyone acting like she wouldn't be able to pull it off, and then she did, and everyone's so shocked about it. Anyway, yes, the armor looks very cool. I also noticed he's not wearing armor. That's not very smart if you're in a battle, but alright. Okay, so he dies in some kind of battle, and that's going to be probably a turning point for her, though I'm not really sure.
And then but then she raises that flag, so I'm just wondering, like, at what point in the story is this for her?
That's like the best shot of the trailer, or one of them. It's such
it is a good shot.
This section of the trailer is probably my favorite.
Me too.
The Imperium Core stuff up until until Belisarius having his line. That's probably my favorite section of the trailer. It's just really well edited, and this shot of Core with the flag is
very good.
A little bit awesome.
One thing, so I'm kind of jumping a little bit ahead here with Nemesis meets Harmata. I didn't realize
we can go to
that she was holding a person.
She is.
I did not notice that.
She's holding, presumably, a child to eat.
God, it's just funny. Like, as soon as she popped up, I tweeted this, or X'd it, or whatever the fuck it's called these days.
Oh God.
I really wanted to know Danielle's thoughts on this, because
she'll give them when she's ready.
Oh wait, no, she did. She did respond to my tweet. I gotta pull it up. She said, "Ready to be slaughtered in the pursuit of spyacy."
In the pursuit of what?
Spyacy.
It looks great. Like, I wasn't expecting to see her because I thought, well, the CGI is probably not ready. But oh my God,
it's very well done.
And some of it looks practical, which is really cool. And Jenna Malone looks so different.
She does.
You can't even recognize her.
It kind of gives me, what's that? With the Fifth Element, the blue. I don't know why, but it's giving me like kind of vibes of that too in her design. She's very creepy looking in this. Yeah.
For some reason, I was expecting her to look more Jenna Malone. But I'm glad
me too. But
I'm glad that this looks more monstrous.
I agree. I thought she would just have maybe like her regular face, like just on a spider body, and that this is much cooler.
Yeah.
So the Wikipedia thing says that Cora goes to recruit her.
I think it's been. I don't know if I trust that, but I do think it's implied that she's not fully evil, and that I think know that her children were taken from her, and this is why she takes other people's children now. So she's not great, but she's not the worst here either. I think that would be the way to describe her. And I don't know the context of this scene. I guess like is Nemesis just like saving kids from her probably?
That's a good point.
She looks like she'd be useful.
Yeah, the design is very great. And then the next shot we get the What are
fire swords, whatever.
obviously, like, Zack's equivalent of lightsabers, but I've mentioned this, I think we've all kind of said this at some point. I love that they actually give off heat. I think, and they look visually, they stand out more than lightsabers do. Not that lightsabers aren't cool or anything, but, like, these feel and look different.
Yep.
It looks much cooler than I thought it was going to look.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like,
For being
I thought
what's,
it was,
yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but, like, I thought it was going to look more basic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the flashiness is, like, what I didn't expect from it. Like,
Yeah.
the movement from it is just it's really fucking cool.
Yeah, and I know, like, this is going to be probably one of the biggest things that people complain about. Is like, oh, this is obviously Star Wars, and these are his lightsabers. And, like, yes, but he at least made them more interesting looking. They aren't, like, direct, like, again, these look more like swords that are giving off heat rather than just, like, the beams of light that lightsabers are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, lightsabers are hot, but you never really get a sense of heat from them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just when they're activated. Like, in this, I feel like when you see them on, you can tell that, like, those are really, really hot.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah. And I really, I like both. I don't want to, like, downplay the lightsaber just because, oh, Zack's doing something different. I like both, but I like that what Zack's doing with his version of those is different and looks and feels like, well, yes, it's very much inspired by that. He's still putting his own twist on it.
Yep.
And I don't know if this is what Zack is going for, but, like, we saw Korra and Noble with blue ones.
Yep.
And, like, blue flames are said to be, like, hotter. They're considered to be hotter.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm wondering, like, is that, like, people who are using, like, blue flame swords, like, is that because it's, like, maybe the Imperium are using those and those are, like, higher quality weapons, and she has to kind of, like, Nemesis has to kind of just make do with what she has. Like, I mean, I'm sure she's going to be obviously fucking shit up with those, but I'm just saying, like, I'm feeling like the rebels will always have, like, the lower quality stuff compared to the Empire and a lot of things. So, like, I'm wondering if that's kind of what Zack is going for there.
Yeah, it might be another version of her swords. But they do look a little bit different. Yeah, we'll get to those. They look cool, but, like, slightly different.
Yeah. And
well, I'm looking forward to this whole fight, but I am amused by the fact that you can see Korra and the rest of them in the background, and I guess they're just like, she's got this. Like, we're just gonna watch.
And this fight too, like, the CGI on Harmona is, like, at this stage, granted, like, we aren't that far from release, but I've seen trailers for movies that are a few months out that still don't look polished. This looks very, like, if they release it as is, I'm very content with how this looks. It looks very good to me.
Yeah, I'm loving this whole scene.
Me too. And the fight choreography and, like, it's very good. And, like, the fact that, like, I think those swords don't necessarily look like they don't have to be, like, active. And you can see even, like, there's almost, like, burn marks on these swords when they're not on. Because you can see you can see the fact that they do give off heat. And you can I just like little details that are here.
Yeah, I wonder what activates that. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see. Mm-hmm. And then we get more of Ed's screen and the priests in the background.
He's wearing a tie.
That's the funny thing to me. So, like, it's a
tie on.
Like, do we think Earth exists?
No, I don't think. I mean, if it does, we're very far away. I just think that like a lot of their fashion choices for the Imperium anyway are very Earth-like. Yeah. The tie is just the most blatant.
Mm-hmm. And we got this same shot of Charlie Hunnam that I feel like we've seen a bunch now.
I have, back when I used to just, like, rewatch the same, like, 10 seconds from that whole Netflix, like, what's coming out this year video. Yep, I've seen this many times. Yeah,
I do think it's funny that, like, when that shot first came out, everyone was like, Zack's trolling the fans who thought that Charlie Hunnam was going to be Green Arrow by putting him in a greenish hoodie.
He definitely was, and we're moving on.
Charlie Hunnam is it Green Arrow?
The next shot is Sky Yang's character, who I can't figure out. I don't know what his role is yet, because he's not really with the main team.
I can't tell who he is either. Or is this? Do we know if maybe he's like a flashback character?
We see him twice in this trailer. We'll see him again in the snow environment.
In my opinion, that looks like flashbacky to me. So I have a feeling he's like part of flashback stuff.
The snow stuff you think is flashbacky?
That's my take. I could be wrong, but we'll talk about that once we get to those shots.
We're talking about Sky Yang, who's he's the kid who I was pointing out earlier on Twitter. He's in the snow scene, and we also see him like.
He's like raising a weapon.
Not very happy. Yeah, raising some kind of weapon. And I can't really figure out what his role is. Because we see him very briefly, but he did stand out to me. These were cool shots.
Okay, so here's my thing. Okay, so these next couple of shots are interesting.
Are we talking about the same one? This whole next section of the trailer is really cool.
So is this the king that drops down here?
Yes, okay. Josh, you really need to pull up the freaking trailer. Because now we're talking about, like, really minuscule things. Yes, there's this shot.
I'm scared I'm going to fuck something up on my phone. Okay, I'm going to try my best.
Okay, we're at 138 of this. The shot of what is, like, some kind of cloaked figure who looks like he might have a crown on.
And he has, like, chain. No, not chains. But it's like torn up, like, cloak thing.
This is the design. And it looks like he's holding something. And this part's really cool. And I do want to say we should keep in mind that this is from the first two movies, so for all we know, this is the end of movie 2 or something. Like
for all we know, this could be Korra.
We really can't get.
Yeah, I don't know. I was really trying to figure out who that is myself, but there's no way I could really tell.
I think that's the king whose funeral we see, because I almost feel like I see the feathery kind of stuff there. On his left side.
Let me see.
Because he has a little bit of white.
The crown looks different than the funeral one.
He might have different crowns. You don't know.
That's true. Okay, well, this shot was cool, but I can't really guess. Like,
it's just But then the next one, that's his wife, or that's.
Favorite. This was one of my favorite shots. It's so cool. I loved it. I hate Game of Thrones, but it was very Game of Thrones vibe.
But I feel like, is that not what's his name's mom that we saw at the funeral earlier?
Can you tell? We can't see her face.
Well, let me kind of go back to that funeral shot. Let me see. I'm just gonna go back for a second.
Oh,
I think it's her. Like, I think she just succumbs to her grief and kills herself. Because it looks like, and it's colored, and it's still, and it has that kind of, like, not quite in focus kind of flashbacky thing that I was talking about earlier. This looks like that. To me.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It could be her. Yeah, it's hard to say because we see so little, and I will say also, it doesn't look just like she's succumbing to her grief. It looks like the Imperium's destroying their planet.
I mean, that too.
I mean, both. I mean, I guess, like, you can...
I don't think that's, if this is her, I don't think that's her son. What, Tarek?
No, that's not him.
That looks like Ed Skrein from behind, to me.
He's some kind of Imperium guy.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like they, like, let them have the funeral for the king, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna come in now. And just take over everything. And she kills herself, probably. That's a really cool shot. It's just that's like where I was like, oh, this is such a space opera.
And the next shots are cool too, of like the ship escaping the planet as it's being destroyed or cities blown up.
But if we're correct about that, that's probably when Tarek leaves, because his mother's dead and his father's dead, and the Imperium just took over his planet. But yeah, then we see that cool shot of just the ship flying away from planet. And then this shot of Milius with the knife in their teeth is so cool. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
This is probably towards the end, because they also cut their hair. We can see Milius throughout the trailer has longer hair, and here we've seen on other shots, they have like the buzzed off hair. So this is probably towards the end, when after, I think that they're with Blood Axe. I think that's how they come into the story. So shaved their head at some point.
I am just realizing, we're about or close to halfway done with this thing, and we have not seen Blood Axe yet, and I'm upset.
I'm trying to go faster.
Okay, and then here we have
Titus again.
Titus, and then you're looking very cool as always. And then Belisarius in the next shot.
Yes.
I like his line here.
We had an explosion of some kind of explosion. This was one of my favorite. This whole section of the trailer to me was the best part. It was so good. And also it was just, it felt like, breaking the fourth wall a bit. Shh, I love this part. It was.
We just know that he's gonna be a little son of a bitch.
This was so good. I
like
really
his whole get up and everything.
So speaking of, I know we've kind of talked about some of the Lord of the Rings stuff in here. His crown kind of reminds me of Gil Galad's from.
Gil Galad,
yeah.
Yep.
It does look like that.
I had the same thought, but I wasn't trying to mix.
I think it's been made very, very clear that Zach is a Lord of the Rings fan. Literally, the first teaser for Man of Steel used music from Lord of the Rings. I think,
very true.
It did. No, this was one of my favorite bits of the trailer, because honestly, up until this point, we haven't seen really any of Belisarius at all, other than that one shot of him from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And that shot of him, I was like, that's so weird. He just looks like a regular soldier. So I was confused about what his role was going to be. But here he looks much cooler, and he has a cooler costume on, and he's clearly a lot older than he was, because that was with young Korra. So now he's at least 20 years older.
Yeah.
And he just looks really cool, and I love how he delivered this line. It was just so, because I was a little bit I thought it was a bit odd casting for him. He just wasn't really what I expected.
Me too. Yeah, I remember when they announced who was, because they announced the character names before they announced who was playing who, and so we had months of speculating. And didn't you think that Ed Skrein was Belisarius at first?
Yeah, well, it looked like that, and nothing was really confirmed, so everyone just thought that it was going to be him. Yeah.
But yeah, interesting.
He's also kind of he's a more prominent actor too. He's pretty recognizable, so it seemed like he would be the main villain.
Well, it's funny because the only thing I've seen him in is Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, yeah.
Yeah, yep. Yeah.
And that's why I was like, I don't know how this is going to play out with this actor, because his character in Hawkeye is idiot, I haven't watched it. So he's kind of just a lackey, a goon. So he was. I was trying to picture this ruthless villain for this, and it just didn't really connect with me, because he wasn't originally supposed to play Belisarius. It was going to be I forgot his name, but it's
Josh, you want to know something?
English
You're wrong.
actor.
You're wrong.
No. There was an English actor.
Yes, he was, and you know who replaced him? Ed Skrein.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was going to play Noble, that British guy. And then I think there was some kind of conflict or whatever, and he was recast with Ed Skrein. But and Froffy, I think, was cast a little bit after that. He was always going to be Belisarius. It was never going to be that other guy.
Rupert Friend.
Well, I still felt like he was. I didn't know how this. I wasn't confident.
I was the same way.
I like what I'm seeing now, though.
Yeah, I thought I mean, I'd never seen him in anything, but I thought he's kind of on the younger side. He's in his 30s, and he kind of just looks like he doesn't look very physically intimidating when you see him. Like he just looks like a regular guy. Like he doesn't have like super intense features or anything like that. He has a bit of an odd face, not in a bad way. But he's not super striking when you look at him, and he doesn't seem like he's super tall. I don't think he's short. But I
think he's like average. My guess is just based on what I saw from him in Hawkeye, I think he's maybe 5'9", 5'10", maybe a little shorter.
Yeah, he didn't. When I saw him, you would think like Ed Skrein is the one you'd think would be playing that right, because he just has that kind of face. Like he's the angular features, those cheekbones. Like he's very intimidating when you look at him, and Fruffy's just not really the same way. So I was uncertain about this casting, but the way he delivered this line was so perfect, and I loved the way he was standing, and I loved his whole costume, and I like that he has facial hair. I was sold. I was pretty much right when I saw that, because I was like, oh, that's the perfect introduction to him. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So I will not doubt Zach's casting again, because I was unsure, but now I'm comfortable.
Yeah. So moving on to their next shots here, just more spaceship stuff. Which, it's always funny how, in here and in Star Wars, the Rebels always have, their dirtier, not clean ships.
Yep, yeah. We're low budget here. we don't have the same paychecks that the Imperium have rolling in. Okay, yeah, it's just a lot of
more spaceships, which again look good. And then Ray Porter.
Yeah, Ray Porter. It's just.
I feel like Zach had this one specific shot of Ray that he knew fans were gonna his fans anyway.
Yeah.
Were gonna be like, oh hey.
Yeah,
that's true. I kind of jumped up when I saw him.
Me too.
But I watched the trailer reaction. And this one guy, he was like, "Is that Paul Giamatti?"
I could see it if you didn't know who he was.
Oh man.
No, that would be fun if Paul was in this, but no, that is Ray Porter.
Yeah.
But then we see the shot of Cora and what's your name, Charlie Hunnam? I don't remember his name. But Kai, that's and we see the Griffin in the background.
Yep.
Hi, Nick's kids.
They're in their little pillow fort thing.
But we see the Griffin, so clearly this is when they're going to meet Tarek, whichever.
Yeah.
And next shot, just cool fighting shots. This is the guy that looks like Hugh Jackman. Am I the only one?
Wait, hang on. Which? Okay.
The guy with the big gun. He looks like Hugh Jackman in Logan.
Wait, where is he? Okay, yeah. Okay, yes, very much so.
Every time I saw him, I was like,
isn't that the guy from Army of Thieves?
Oh, that is him! Oh, yes! That's him. It's driving me crazy.
Well, that makes sense, because he does look like Hugh Jackman.
I knew he does. Well, I knew it was someone I knew, because it was he looks so familiar, but all I could think of was Hugh Jackman.
It's the tank top and the grunginess and the beard and
yeah, exactly. That is him. Okay, yeah, that is him from Army of Thieves. Can't tell what he's playing. I would guess one of the farmers, and he looks great. We put him in a tank top. Of course we did.
More and another ship. Okay. Nemesis swords.
Yes, swords still looking awesome.
And then long hair Tarek.
Yes, we love long hair Tarek.
And then
got rid of shirts.
This 4-armed buff alien, with people who are close, that are half naked, lining up to him.
This looks like it's probably the Gladiator planet, right?
Yeah.
And they're about to go out and do the Russell Crowe thing.
The Russell Crowe thing. From director Zack Snyder.
Just Russell should have a cameo in this.
I don't know if y'all have seen John Carter.
No, I haven't.
I've not seen the movie, no.
Okay, well, it's basically same kind of thing, sci-fi, soap, space opera thing. But a lot of some of this stuff in here like has the same kind of vibes, because there is like a whole like gladiator like scene with aliens, like big giant aliens, and with like multiple arms.
Yeah.
So this kind of reminded me of that.
Oh yeah, I remember that from the trailers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably inspired, I'm sure.
Okay, and then this next shot after the title, or the Zack Snyder title card, this I just think of the concept art.
Yeah, the visuals on this planet are really cool. Oh wait, hold on. What were you talking about? Hold on. I'm talking about the planet at like at the 2-minute mark. It just looks cool.
Oh yeah. That's the one I was talking about. Like that, I'm pretty sure is in one of the bits of concept art. That must have been what like. I feel like wasn't that like tail end of 2021 or was it 2022?
Yeah, you're right. This probably is that. Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, got it. I feel like we've been waiting for this movie for so long.
We really have for so long.
Well, it was weird. Well, because like 2021, we got so much Zack stuff. We got ZSJL, we got Army of the Dead. Later that year, we got Army of Thieves, which he didn't direct, but you know, it's part of his whole thing.
Yeah.
And then 2022 was effing nothing.
Nothing. It was painful. It was so difficult. It was really hard on me.
Well, plus it's hard because like Zack, like
we spent 2022. We were like, that was us just waiting for like casting news for Rebel Man.
Yeah.
just waiting for news on it the whole time.
And then like, and then Zack has all the other products going on, like Twilight of the Gods.
They're never coming out. They're not real.
No, Las Vegas is what you said is not real, and that's what's it called?
Both aren't real. I don't believe it either.
I don't know. I think, well, didn't Jay Oliver say something recently where he was talking about the progress of that?
He's part of the money laundering.
He's part of the I do hope Planet of the Dead gets made. That one I really want to see.
I do. I really want to see that too. Yeah, I want to see that sequel very badly. I want to know what Bender is like as an alpha.
Even if so like cool. That's the last movie in the Armyverse, like I would just like that, because I want to see the characters from Army of Thieves pop in, because I think Zack was talking about how Gwendolyn would be there and Dieter would come back, because we never saw him actually die.
Yep, I want more of that too. We're moving on to this trailer because we'll just get off track again.
I know, there's so much Zack stuff we haven't talked about because we've been talking about Lord of the Rings. So Cora looking,
Cora, like,
being very sweaty.
Is really cool.
She's very sweaty in this movie.
This is probably when she's defecting. That's what I would guess.
Yeah, because of her haircut. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this blood? Is this where we meet Blood Axe? Yes.
Yes, it is. This looks like this has to be Milius's home planet,
yes,
right?
Because they have like that eye paint thing going on.
Right. And it looks like the home planet is being used, like, you know, for essentially slave labor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Blood Axe shows up with his crew.
Mm-hmm.
And
boy,
yes, that gun is so huge. Hey, look, this is a really cool shot. And that presumably liberates them as much as they can. And from there, I think we can assume that Milius goes with that crew.
Yes.
And just, like, has been tagging along with them since then.
Where's his sister at? Because I want to see more of her.
Of course you do.
Who? Yes, we all
okay,
do.
so granted, like, it doesn't have to play this way in the movie, because, like, movie ages can be whatever they want. So the actors are the same age, Ray and... I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Do we know if they're twins, or if are they just brother and sister?
I don't think they said.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But her name is Cleopatra, her first name.
Cleopatra Coleman, yeah, that's her name.
Okay. It's a very cool shot of Ray, and then we get the Black Griffin.
Oh, yes, this was the second best part of the trailer.
I very much so liked this.
So cool. I love that he kneels to it. That's awesome.
Me too. And then I love the running jump onto him.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, he was very, very cool in this trailer. Because, Zack was like, this is my Conan the Barbarian moment.
But it also kind of gives me, like, Tarzan vibes, too.
Oh, yeah, it's very Tarzan. I love it, too, because it's... I mean, the Griffin's clearly... I mean, I'm guessing this is his Griffin, that he took with him when he left after his planet was destroyed. Because otherwise, what is it doing there? Because clearly these are important to his family.
Yes.
It's not just something that he's come up with. So he clearly, this is probably his, or they're each other's. And he brought it with him to this planet, and he's just been, because it's got chains on it, but I guess because he's been indebted to this person, it's just like, that's, his Griffin is whoever that guy's property now.
Yeah.
That's what I would guess. And yeah, I guess they stumble upon him and they're like, wow, you have a Griffin and you're like really tough. You want do you want to join us and you can fly your Griffin into battle? Because that would look kind of awesome.
Yeah. And and another point too is, as I repeated earlier, the CGI looks very, very, very well done. Like, honestly, like, this is, speaking from, like, this is God honest, like, my truth, this bias aside, I think this is visually the best thing I've seen come out of Netflix. Just visually alone. Like, I don't know obviously I don't know if how the movie's going to actually be, but just visually, it's like, you could tell this is something they have a lot of faith in, because how much money that they threw at Zack. And the fact that they're releasing extended cuts too.
From Netflix, I agree. Yeah, this whole section just with him running and jumping on it was just really cool. It reminded me of Avatar, with Jake doing the same, and jumping on, those flying creatures in the first one. The really big one. It's what it reminded me of.
The Turuk.
Yes. You know your Avatar lore.
Yes, I do. I watched The Way of Water at least once a week.
So that was also one of the best shots.
Yes, very, very.
We love The Way of Water.
And the next shot we get back to, would this be Korra's village after? Like, where she's currently living?
I mean, that's clearly the main planet, but yeah, I don't know.
Because this kind of looks like the crew. It kind of looks like the crew that she's assembled coming in. I could be wrong, but it looks like the main cast.
I think you're right, because that looks like it's her at the front of the pack,
and that looks like it's Tarek either Tarek in the back or maybe Nemesis in the back. It's the long hair. I can't.
It looks. I think I can see Titus, so I think you're right.
Yeah.
And then we have this shot of Noble, that's his name. Yeah, and we see the priests on his side.
Mm-hmm. And then this alien,
shirtless
the alien in the next shot is crazy. Just the CGI looks so good.
Oh yeah, I love how he looks.
Me too. And it's so unique looking. Like, I feel like that's probably been my biggest criticism of Disney Star Wars era, is just the aliens. I feel like they aren't trying.
Yeah. Now, is that what he has? Are those just like is that a crown on his head, or is that just part of him?
That is a good question. I don't know. It kind of looks like it could be a crown. But, like, how many damn royals are in this movie, if that's the case?
Oh, God, it's so hard to keep track of who's related, and oh, God. He looks really cool.
So, like, that's where, like, some, like, stuff like that, I can understand if you're a casual person watching this trailer, it's like, oh, that's a lot going on. I don't really know what this movie is necessarily about. Because it is a lot of just, like, shots.
I mean,
well, it is a teaser.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hi, son.
Josh, our minds, yes.
But, okay, so, are they messing with each other?
Who?
This, Noble and this alien, because people are saying that they're
okay, Josh.
They're saying that these happening. I'm just saying. I'm just saying because other people are saying it.
If he has an alien lover, I'm going to guess it's not this one. So that's just going to be my prediction. Okay. I hope he does
because
have
it
one,
was like people were saying because like there's that octopus thing that Zack had posted, and then it said something about Noble's lover, whatever. I don't know the exact phrasing that Zack said, but maybe it's a different alien entirely. But I just thought it was. I was just curious.
I'm gonna leave that to Zack to show me when the time is right.
And then this other shot of the ship here, we've seen this already, right? Or was it in the concept part?
This was released, I think, in a magazine.
Okay. I feel like I remember seeing this before. Cool, yeah, because didn't someone say Zack was trying to beat out Oppenheimer with the explosions?
Anyway, the next shot in this throne room, this is one of the more interesting ones. Because I can't figure out what's happening.
Because whoever is on the throne is like either disappointed or upset. Korra
I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. Josh, what were you going to say?
This is what I feel like this might be Carrie Elwes here. I think. I think it could be him.
It could be. It's funny that like I feel like Zack's almost trying to hide him.
Yeah, he is, because it's Wesley from The Princess Bride. No, I can't figure this one out. I mean, it's clearly when Korra's still with the Imperium. Because she's there and she's kneeling. I don't know who that is. Yeah, like, who's? I mean, that could be Carrie Elwes. I can't tell. It's very annoying that he's covering his face. I will say this throne room it could be better, but that's okay.
It kind of reminds me of the throne room from the end of Chronicles of Narnia, the first one.
Oh yeah.
And then I think that has to be like wolf imagery, right?
That's what I was wondering. Is that a wolf?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay, and then we have Titus.
No, I'm not done talking about this shot.
Oh my god!
Why are there 3 thrones?
It's the brother and sisters of Adam and Eve. Just kidding.
Why are there 3 thrones? And that's what I want to know. Like,
King, Queen, and Prince? And then, I don't know.
I don't know either. But I feel like this scene, I think, is significant. Like, something bad's going to happen here. This could be when the king gets murdered.
Could be.
By somebody in this room.
But who do y'all think that's standing there in the on the steps?
It's what's annoying.
I think it's probably the guy she likes. Or she kisses.
Her boyfriend?
Well, because I just don't imagine they're going to... I could be wrong, but it just, like, all these scenes of her in that time of her life, it seems to be like he's in the vicinity.
It could be her boyfriend. It could... I feel like it could be Belisarius as well. Just because she's back there bowing still. So that implies that, she's lower ranked than maybe him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one talking directly to who I'm assuming is the king. And so I would guess it's maybe Belisarius, because I feel like it would be someone senior to her, but I don't know. And I don't think it's Ed Skrein, because it just doesn't really look like him.
Oh, no, I don't think it is.
So I would say it's Belisarius, and I don't... That's going to be my guess. I'm going to guess it's him. And maybe this is when one of them kills the king. I don't think it would be Korra, though. That is my guess. Maybe Belisarius did it and framed her.
Maybe. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
That is a possibility. Okay, next shot.
So
now I'm done. I'm done talking about that one.
So this is Titus, who like in the gladiator thing.
Looks great. Yeah.
This actor looks familiar. Next in the next shot.
That's probably Korra who's going to be talking to Titus, because we've seen a shot of them together when he's looking like that.
He has the whole cloak outfit too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's it.
And then the following shot, who's that? The old guy looks familiar. Who Korra's hugging?
He might be someone we know. I don't know. I don't recognize him.
And then here we have Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia.
Yes, this shot. Okay, yes, Josh. This shot is the one of just the crown falling on the ground, which is one of the cooler shots, because again, I was like, space opera imagery, love it. Like, it's so cool. But Nick, who's falling down? Whose crown is it? Tell me.
Yeah. I'm still.
Tell me what's happening here. I can't figure it out.
I can't figure out a lot of the whole like royal shit. I can't figure out.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I feel like we've nailed is the whole Tarek stuff, but
Yeah, I think so.
but when it comes to the Imperium side of things, it's really hard to decipher what's going on.
Which I'm glad about, but I also need answers.
I mean, that could be the death of Carrie Ellis there, maybe.
It could be. It just doesn't really look like him in the background, and but I can't tell. Like, because I swear his head's covered.
What?
Doesn't it look like that? Like you can't see the person's head at all.
Okay,
Man, it's so annoying.
keep talking. I'll be right back.
This crown looks cool, though. Okay, I do like how the crown looks. It's very cool. Nick went to go handle his children again.
Okay.
Yeah, I just can't.
Yeah,
I can't figure out who this is.
Would that? I don't know. Would that be him?
And there have been
I guess
I
it
don't
would
know,
be him because he's falling on the ground, but
there's too many crowns as well. Like there's multiple characters wearing crowns, so it's hard for me to figure out like who is who. And like it's and do they have multiple crowns that they just wear on different occasions? Like, oh, it's difficult. But I loved this shot. So I don't know who that is. It probably makes the most sense that it's Carrie Elwes, but it kind of looks to me like this person has long hair. I just can't, but I can't really tell.
Yeah.
Okay, and now we've come back to the little girl, and I guess Nick just won't hear again our thoughts about her.
Why does this happen every time we get to this little girl? He's not here.
He's not here to talk about her. He really doesn't want to. Well, we can talk about it again and then give him a recap when he comes back. Okay, I think we're still recording. So you give what you guessed is the case with her, and then I'll give mine. And it's because we got to repeat that now.
Okay, I think it could be possible that this is a whole scene that has happened in the past. Like, this will be a flashback scene. And she could be the ancestor of Carrie Elwes. And, like, that whole bloodline of the Imperium, like the royal bloodline, like she was the ancestor of all of them. And like we hear the whole thing that Jimmy is saying in the beginning about the girl who is like destined to like restore the galaxy to peace and stop wars and everything like that.
Yep.
And maybe, I mean, I think like when he's saying that, we could be seeing this scene when he's saying all that. And but like as we know, like as we're watching the film, like none of that has happened. Like there's no peace in the galaxy. So like their whole bloodline, her bloodline hasn't been. They're terrible, like rulers and everything, but Cora is really the one who will unite the rebels and everything, and she'll be the actual person to bring peace to the galaxy. And I feel like that's an interesting way to do that, because she was originally she was taken, and then she got into the Imperium as a soldier and stuff. So like I think that's kind of a cool idea for her to like be into the to work for them, and then she defects, and then she becomes that girl. Not obviously, I mean it's two different people, but just the idea of someone bringing peace to the galaxy and all that. I feel like it could be something like that.
Yeah, she becomes the heir more like spiritually than being the actual princess in this case.
Right.
So that was Josh's guess, which I think is very likely to be true. And the other option is if these aren't flashbacks and if this is actually something that is really happening. We know the Princess Issa thing is like a story, so that's kind of, whether she was real or not is sort of, up in the air. But if the character we're seeing here on screen is real and this is happening in present day, then my guess would be, and this would explain why Belisarius is regent, perhaps. My guess would be that she's... Nick, are you back? I can't tell.
Yes, I'm back, but my son's demanding more food, even though I just fed him food.
Hi!
Can you say hi?
So my guess on who she is would be that she's Carrie Elwes' daughter, and so the heir to the Imperium throne. And once Carrie Elwes' character is killed, she's too young, obviously, to rule, so Belisarius becomes regent. And these scenes are really playing out while she's just not on the throne yet. But there is this feeling that she's the one, like, that's supposed to fulfill that prophecy or whatever it is about restoring peace. But it turns out it's actually not her. It's going to be Cora. So still a similar vibe to what Josh was saying. It's just really a matter of, is this really is this taking place in present day, or is this just some kind of fantasy or a flashback?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I think it could be easily one of those two things.
I think it's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really liked this shot, though. It's really just beautiful. It reminded me of Narnia. It wasn't a visual I was expecting at all. It just surprised me. I really like it. So, and I don't know who's with her either. When we see there's a man with her, again, I don't know. It looks like someone in an Imperium uniform. She has a dog, though. Okay, the next shot, we see Cora, the animal lover, petting the griffin. I would also do that.
Okay, I'm back.
Sure, hi, Nick. Okay. I love these shots of Jimmy with these fireflies, whatever they are.
Oh, yeah. That was
some
visually,
kind of...
That was so beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, they're just some kind of creature, I assume. But this was just cool, and this is clearly him again. Like everyone else is just out there fighting and dying, and he's like, I'm on a journey of self-discovery. I'm playing in the fields with the fireflies. I love that for him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about the blue and red bug things?
Yes.
I love that. That is probably my favorite shot of the trailer.
Yeah, it's just so beautiful.
Okay,
and then we get children playing to show that, like, oh, look at all the kids that will die if the Imperium comes here.
Right.
I just want to say real quick, I really like this back half of the trailer. It feels very, it feels very human. Like, it feels very, like the first half was, like, setting up this space opera, and the rest of this is focusing on the characters, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, this is when we get a lot of these like touching moments, like even the firefly part and the kids playing, and then we see Cora and her farm boy kissing, and I liked this part too with when they're clearly at some kind of party
and they're dancing, and the family
like
dancing.
Now that it's cute, and now I know who that is. That's the Army of Thieves guy.
Yeah.
So I would assume that's Cora's home planet. And then we have this shot of Charlie Hunnam, and it looks like he's crying, and it looks like he's saying goodbye. That is the impression it gives. But surely this is his Han Solo moment, right?
Oh yeah.
Where he's like, I'm leaving. Sorry, I don't really I like you guys, but I don't really want to die. And then he has his heroic return, right? We're gonna do that.
Or he just dies here because Zach's gonna not use that trope.
Or he dies.
I'm still not fully sold on Charlie Hunnam in terms of like, is he going to betray them? Or
that's a good point.
Is he, because he's a mercenary, right? I thought.
Yeah,
he was.
he's the Han Solo archetype. He's the one who doesn't pick sides, right? That's always typical in these movies.
Right, but I'm just wondering, like, is he going to end up being like worse than Han Solo, or is he going to be Han Solo? I'm not.
Yeah, will he be a hero character? Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
This shot of him, this emotional shot of him makes it seem like he's not going to be a bad guy. But it could be easily that, you know, he's not a bad guy, but he is mostly, and he maybe cares about them, but he's still, at the end of the day, very self-interested, and that if it was his own life or anybody else's, he would still sell them out.
Right.
So that's possible. I could see that being the case. But I think in the first one, he'll probably still be a good guy, probably.
If he survives the first one.
If he does. We don't know who's surviving. I kind of hope they don't do the exact Han Solo trope, though.
Me too.
Like, don't have him leave and then make a heroic return. Like, let's not do exactly the same thing.
Right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the next shot's an important one for what we were saying about the little girl in the snow. It's the same. It's in the same environment, but this time it's Sky Yang's character and another woman who I would guess is playing his mother. In the snowy area, and that mother is not long for this world. I'm going to say. I think that's very obvious because we see him earlier in the trailer. He looked very upset, and I would guess that mom's gonna die. So we see them in this environment, which implies that it's not a story or a flashback, but it's taking place in present day.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I would guess that they're just somehow associated with the royal family, and that's not going to last that much longer, is my guess.
Sorry, I was talking to my kids in the middle of that. I'm sure you had a great point. Yes. Okay. Keep talking. I will once again be right back.
Okay. Bye. Okay. So the next shots are we're almost done. So more shots of just, you know, the final battle scenes, or probably the final in the first one, I would guess.
Right.
I liked this shot a lot of. I can't tell what's happening, but it's the guy who like seems to throw something on the ground and blow it up and kill probably a bunch of Imperium soldiers. You know the shot I'm talking about? It's towards the end.
Yeah. I real quick though.
Yes. Yes.
Let me. At 2:43.
Yes.
I didn't notice this, but there's still those swords.
Oh,
those
yes.
swords.
Oh, you found it. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, so it's first. I mean, it hasn't came up yet, but like the first time I noticed the blue swords was with Korra and Noble fighting. But this here, I just now am seeing this. So that looks really cool, though.
Yeah. You're right. I didn't notice that either. I like them. They look cooler here, I think, than they did in the Korra and Noble fight. Maybe because it's kind of dark. I think now that I'm seeing them here, they look more like Nemesis's swords. Because you see the, like, blue steam coming off of them. Hi, next kids. But no, they definitely look a lot more like her swords here. And so okay, so you're right, that is an Imperium weapon. And you might be right that they're also hotter, like literally.
I'm just going with you. Love you.
Josh, you there?
Okay, I am back.
I think we lost Josh.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, can you add him back?
Okay, yeah, let me Add him. Sorry for our listeners. We're experiencing some technical difficulties.
It's Skype. What do we expect?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Josh, we got him back.
My dad called me and it fucked up the whole thing.
No, it's fine. Mine that's happened to me before too. So I'm back now. So where did you guys leave off?
Josh pointed out something. At 2:43, you can see the Imperial soldiers holding the blue swords.
Oh, you're right. Interesting.
Hot swords, yeah.
I think I like the blue ones more than the red ones. The blue ones look really cool.
Yeah, I like them too. They look really cool, and I didn't notice that until now. I like how they look in this shot a lot.
Me too.
So it looks like, and to me here, they look a lot more like Nemesis's swords than they did in the Noble and Korra fight. Because here you can see the steam like coming off of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the next shots, I liked this shot a lot at like 2:45, where it looks like someone just like blows up a place to kill a bunch of Imperium soldiers.
Oh yeah, I very much like that too. Just very quick action-y shots.
Yep. That are
Korra and her new bow. Jimmy and the blonde
alien
girl.
Horse. Oh wait, no, we have to stop here at 2:49. It's the flower crown scene.
It's Zack's inspiration from Midsummer.
It's so good. It's kind of humorous, like just I'm making a flower crown. Let me put it on this battle robot.
And have we talked about his dialogue where he's talking about like I was given memories of a world I'll never go to and defending princess I can't see or something like that? What does he say?
Let me go back. You're asking me to go back to the beginning. Okay, hold on. A world I'll never see. Loyalty to a king I cannot serve.
Okay. I just want to say that I thought that was a really great line.
And love for a child I could not save. I don't know what that means.
Well, I feel like
maybe they kill that girl.
That's what I'm saying. Because, like, obviously he ends up wearing, like, that cloak with the antlers kind of thing. I think that's later on.
Yeah, but no, it definitely is. But yeah, like, a child I could not save. That implies that she's dead. Well, I mean, I'm only guessing what it's referring to. But he's talking about... But then he talks about Princess Issa like she's a legend. So I don't know. I don't know who he's talking about.
Yeah, me neither.
It's hard to say. Maybe he's talking about that little girl.
I was gonna say Princess Issa, but like, he does talk about her like she's a myth. So I don't know. Exactly.
I mean, it could be referring to something else. But
is it this girl that he's talking to right now? I don't know.
I don't know.
I have a feeling this girl dies that he's talking to right now.
Yeah. Sure. I don't know. I think there's a chance that the blonde girl is the heir and she's dead and Belisarius killed her, but that is all. Yeah, I'm really not sure.
Mm-hmm. But I very much like the aesthetic in the shots here. Well, actually, is that the mountain with the 3 waterfalls in the background?
Why are you so fixated on that?
Well, I'm just noticing. I'm just noticing
probably, like, there's your waterfall. That's gonna be your tree, like the Zack tree thing. Like, it's just like where are the mountains with the waterfalls? But yeah. I like this a lot too because I'm really looking forward to this dynamic of this like teenage girl and this battle robot having this friendship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Me too.
Okay. Here's one of my favorite shots in the trailer because it's so weird, and I love it for its weirdness. It's the people with the bags on their heads playing the violin. Interesting. Very, very interesting.
This earlier.
Yeah, when we were not recording, we were talking about it.
Right.
So just real quick, what was your guys' what did you guys think that was?
Well, we guessed earlier that the people with the bags over their heads with the eyes on them are probably connected somehow to the priests.
Mm-hmm.
And I would guess that's still the case here. What's interesting is these bags are clearly like higher end. They like it's not drawn. The eye symbol isn't drawn on; it's sewn on. Like you can, and they're cleaner and nicer. So these are clearly like, if they've been brainwashed, I don't know why they still need to have bags over their heads. But if they have been brainwashed, they're like they're in a very nice place and got the nicer stuff to play violin for presumably the bad guys. But I liked this shot just because it was so weird. And I enjoy that. Like, it's just like, you look at it and you think, that seems really off, and I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just really curious with, like, who they are, because it's very interesting imagery here.
Yeah, it's creepy.
It's like, it's cultish.
Yes, love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this shot's interesting. This is the shot of Noble, and he's wearing his tie. It's sorry, it's so funny. And he's holding the same scepter that I think it's the same, a scepter like thing that
from
we saw
earlier,
potentially a king holding in the air earlier. So that's interesting. Yeah. I don't know if it's infighting between him and Belisarius or what.
It's just interesting seeing this big old space opera battle going on, and this dude's wearing a button-up shirt and tie.
I know, I love it. It's so weird.
It kind of reminds me of in the Last Crusade with Indiana Jones. He was wearing a tie in the desert and stuff. Like, it's so weird.
Okay, let me get more farm stuff.
It's very silly. Okay, yeah, farm stuff. Okay, yeah.
This fight's very, very cool with the blue swords.
Okay.
So this is when she defects, because she still has the short haircut, right?
It looks like her hair is short. I don't think she has a bob here, because when she moves her head, it doesn't look like any hair is swinging around. Yeah, her hair's short. But what gets me is her outfit looks like it's the one she's wearing throughout the movie. Like when she has her longer hair.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's why I was confused. I can't put that together.
She must cut it. That just must be it. This isn't a flashback. It has to be in present day. She just cuts her hair again. Maybe she's going undercover or something.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I could think of, because it's weird, because I don't think she'd be. I mean, maybe she's one of those people. She just rocked the same outfit for a long time. She wore the same thing when she defected. She just never took that outfit off. Hey, power to you if that's what you want to do. But
I mean, hey, if this is Star Wars inspired, the Jedi wore the same damn thing for their entire lives. So
yeah,
who's to
it's
say?
possible. It seems more likely that it's happening in present day, even though her hair's short. That is what I think.
Like, I feel like this will probably be like her beginning of the movie. It's not a flashback, and then we'll get a flash forward at some point not long after. That's my guess.
Yeah.
But very cool fight scene. Very cool looking fight scene.
It looks like it reminded me of again Avatar, The Way of Water, because it looks like the ship is going down. If you look around them, like there's a lot of stuff moving around, and I was like, oh, it's just like the Korg fight scene in Way of Water.
Which is so funny that the James Cameron filmed another ship sinking. Anyways, so we get more of Tarek, and then we kind of get like the group shot.
And then this is the last shot. Yeah, this is when they show up at the Gladiator planet for sure. Because that just looks like a coliseum up there on the hill.
Very much so.
Yeah, this is very ZSJL.
Very much so. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I loved this shot of and the capes flapping in the wind. Like,
well, it's funny because it's almost like the opposite of the ZSJL one, where they were like about to go on the ship, and this is them coming out of the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we never got to see them.
Then we have and then we have the final shot of just four of them, and that's really it. And then that's the title card, and that's the end of the trailer.
I will say, I
really
miss the old title font. This one, it just it just feels a little basic. Like, it doesn't look bad, but it's a little basic.
Okay.
It's just that I was happy with the old font. I just this bold, whatever the font name this is. I feel like I've seen it a million times.
You hate it, yeah. We get it, Nick. No, I get it.
But overall, this was like for a teaser trailer. This was a meaty teaser trailer.
Yeah, it was.
A lot to talk about there, and I still feel like I don't know what the movie is going to be fully about. Like, we have a general idea, but like how we're getting from A to B, which is obviously like any trailer is going to leave you asking that. But like, I feel like with this especially, there's so many characters, and Zack's creating such a rich and like a rich history with this world, and like there's so much going on that there's just so much to theorize about, and it's exciting to have that with a new Zack movie.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because like it's just Zack's movies in particular, to me, I miss the event of like looking forward to it and like theorizing, okay, like what's this shot mean, because I just don't have that with like any other director like right now. Like I have other directors that I like, but not like to the extent of like I pick apart like each shot and like what could that possibly mean. And plus, even like the way he pays homage to like his older movies with certain shots, and like I always look for little stuff like that. So it's always like, being a Zack fan, he leaves things like that for us to find, and I really appreciate that.
I do too. Yeah, it was a very long trailer. I wasn't expecting that, and I mean, I know it's for 2 movies, so that's why I think he would have justified making it that long. But I was just really happy with the tone that it got. Again, it just felt like this huge space opera that I was really hoping it would be. Like, and the stakes feel huge, and the scale is amazing. Like, it was just exactly what I wanted it to capture, and it answered some things that I was wondering about, and it raised a lot of questions, and that's exactly what I wanted it to do.
I was just excited for the visuals, and Zack didn't disappoint. And the score for the trailer too. The score was really cool, and I
love the music choice here. It was not expected. It was really cool.
Yeah, and it felt like it fit. And then like, what was that? There's that little teaser that they had like, what was it, like last night or early this morning? That had like that heavy operatic theme.
Yep.
That one I liked too. I like that a lot. I hope that Junkie delivers with the score, because like I know I'm kind of in the minority. I liked his ZSJL score for the most part.
No, I did too. I liked it just fine.
But like Army of the Dead, I can't remember much of anything score wise, which like I don't need every film score to stand out. But like, I don't know, Junkie. Well, because like I just want Junkie to kind of go back to like his Mad Max Fury Road era, because that score fucking slaps. Mm-hmm. Like,
I think you need something like that with this.
Yes, like, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, the music really needs to really hit. For
I just hope that he has access to a full orchestra this time, because I think that was part of my issue with ZSJL, which like isn't his fault because we were in a pandemic, but like sometimes you could tell that he was making the music in a computer at home.
Yeah, he was a lot more limited. So I hope he will have access to a full orchestra with this. So I really hope that he goes all out with the score, because I want it to be something really great.
Me too. And before we end things here, I do want to say, like I said this on Twitter, I think Zack has really honed in his cinematographer abilities, and the shots in this look incredible. Army of the Dead, again, I think looked cool. It had some, like, it was experimental for Zack, because I think it was his first time being his own cinematographer. It wasn't my favorite looking of his films. It was and then that's fine. But this one, like, I love how it's shot, and like, I feel like Zack has finally like gotten there as far as being like a visual storyteller, with like obviously being the director, but also being like in charge of those shots. Very much
up there with like 300, Watchmen, like Man of Steel, like that level of just beautiful cinematography. Like I didn't
Yeah.
honestly like. I was hoping for like Larry Fong to come back, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm fully satisfied. Like this is.
Me too.
I'm not complaining. Yeah.
Me too.
I'm happy too.
I just noticed that. Wait, hang on. The Rebel Moon retweeted you. There, Liz. The Rebel Moon Twitter page.
The official one?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Not fair.
Oh my god. Zach and I are friends, actually. Wait, hold on. I need to confirm this. What
It
did they
was the
retweet?
one
Oh
where
my
you
god,
were-
they did retweet me! Yes, the one about Tarek and his Griffin. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll be expecting my call for the Rebel Moon red carpet.
God, I hope that there's some sort of like theatrical release or like fan event for this thing because I want to see this in the theater, like really badly. It just
Me
like
too.
like I know this is meant to be a Netflix exclusive, but like it feels like and I appreciate Netflix giving him the budget for making it look and feel like it's more than that. But yeah, I want to see it on the big screen.
Me too, I hear you.
And if if it does end up being a fan screening, you guys better both be there.
Yeah,
Fan
no,
screening?
I'm gonna try my best to.
Not all of us are neighbors with Zach, Nick. Like, I'm a little.
We're not neighbors.
further
I only
away.
live. Hey, it's only like I still live kind of far. It's still like an hour and a half.
You live in California, so like, I'm all the way over here.
Excuses.
Oh yeah, God. I still am unemployed. I'm still finding a job. Like I gotta pay rent here. I can't exactly fly out to California.
On that note, I had a lot of fun. I always love breaking down Zach's trailers, and this is the first time we've had a trailer for something new of his in a very long time. So to be able to break it down like this, it's been a lot of fun, and I hope we get to do it again soon. And I'm sure they'll probably will at least release one more trailer in between now and then.
Yeah.
Maybe at some point then they'll announce Planet of the Dead. Well, who knows? We'll see. But yeah. So if you guys want to close out here, is there anything else you wanted to say about this trailer?
Not really, Josh.
Oh no, I mean I can't fucking wait. I'll be there. Hopefully, like if it's in limited release, then I'll try to go watch it. Yeah, I can't wait to watch the shit out of it.
Me too.
Same here. All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will talk to you guys soon.
All right, bye,
All right.
guys.
Bye.
Bye. And for those of you listening, thanks for spending your time with us. I know it's been a long episode, but our episodes tend to run a little long. Thank you guys again, and until next time, have a good one.